Hi, this is a continuation, and as you can tell, why am I saying this is a continuation? Of course it's a continuation, but anyway, I'm almost done. It looks like I only have 2 more videos to go after this, and it's over, so, yeah, hey. But anyway, this is, oh, you'll know what the name of this video is when I post it. Oh, I gotta set the clock here, because give myself 15 minutes. That's what they'll. I would do it more than 15 minutes, but they only allow you 15 minutes on YouTube, so it's 15 minutes here. Anyway, when I do the Muslims' words, I'll be using this side of my face. When I do mine, try to use this side, okay? And when I do the Muslims, I'll do a mock Arabic accent, even though anyone can be a Muslim, not just an Arab. Okay, I'll continue here. Obama is not really in complete control, but in most of the control, right? He has to keep the very powerful and influential Jewish group AIPAC happy. Otherwise, he won't have their support in the next elections, and most likely won't become president next year. So he does takia with Jews to try to get them to vote for him, true? He clearly said in one of his talks, the Palestinians and Jews must do a deal based on pre-1967 borders, but then got huge pressure from AIPAC and took a complete U-turn in his views on the issue. I bet you feel that if Israel went back to those borders, Israel would never have to worry about rockets and missiles flying out of Gaza and hitting willy-nilly into neighborhoods after that. Even when those missiles fly out of the very territory Israel traded with Muslims in the hopes of achieving peace back in 2005, true? But how can you be sure? How can Israel be sure? As you can see now, that the U.S. has promised to veto the Palestinian statehood bid, as it does not go with what Israel wants. Israel wants to do what? What does Israel want to do? Survive? That seems to be the case. Other than all of that, America has promised Israel $3 billion of military aid every year, for no reason but to try to gain a strong ally in the Middle East. I bet you think America doesn't give billions to the Palestinians as well. True? Also, the Americans readily allowed Israel to obtain nuclear warheads, whereas with any other country they would have started a war against Iran. Complete hypocrisy by America. Does Israel believe an ancient 12-year-old Messiah who disappeared down a well will only come back and kill remaining Muslims who aren't Jewish if it starts a nuke war with Muslims? You ask, what? Are you saying that Quran 111 about killing and being killed in the cause of Allah is a parable? They fight in his cause and slay and are slain. Right? And that is a parable like Jesus, or something to be taken literally. I'm guessing you are talking about this part of the verse. This verse is talking about fighting the jihad against injustice and oppression. And when you say injustice and oppression, that's not code meaning to fight those who don't submit to Allah after sacred months? Are you sure? If the Muslim is slain, he goes to paradise, right? Yet, how come Muslims act like it's a tragedy if a freedom fighter, not terrorist, okay, but a freedom fighter is killed by an American soldier? Is it to achieve victimhood status when the Jewish American media reports it? I don't understand the problem you have with this verse. Did I say I did? Did I ever say I did have a problem with that verse? It is only talking about. It is only talking about when you are participating in the jihad, war against oppression and injustice. War against oppression and injustice. You mean that which is not under Islam? You mean that which is not under Dar al-Islam, Islamic territorial control? That it's only against oppression and injustice that the Muslims should kill just as they are being killed. Sure, it's not dissolving treaties. Quran 9:1. After sacred months, and kill those just because to Allah disbelief is next to shirk, the worst of sins. It is not commanding the Muslim to go out and kill any non-Muslim in the street. How about in their homes from sniper fire? To my knowledge, this verse is just telling the Muslims that in war, kill as you are killed. Well, I tell you what, may you be telling the truth here. And may all Muslims believe you and believe you are right. You say this quote. I bet you feel that Matthew 10:94 is literal, true? This is another reason why I find the Bible so unreliable. Are you saying it's vague here? Are you saying it's vague here? If so, and you have a problem with that, then how come you don't have a problem with the Quran saying the sun runs to a resting place? That's vague too, isn't it? Because if you go to two Christians, they will give you two opposite translations of the same verse because they are using Bible code, which gives them a reason to twist the meaning of a verse in any way they wish. Since so many Christians aren't acting like jihadi Muslims obeying Quran 9:38 through 39 with that scripture that you quoted from the Injil, how can that be the case? In my view, that is just one of the many ways that the meaning of the Bible has changed over time. If that means the Bible is not the book that makes people the book, then what is the book that the Quran says it confirms and reminds? Anyway, what is the metaphorical meaning behind this? I can't think of any way that the line can be twisted to make it to what you are saying. You sure? How come so many Christians like myself? How come so many Christians like myself can? So we aren't killing non-Christians. How come? Also, Jesus never implemented the jihad in terms of war. He never implemented in terms of war, as he never lived long enough on the earth to make a state. If you read the Injil, sounds like Jesus will be what that verse talks of, but that he won't need help in achieving it. If you study Islam, on the other hand, sounds like Allah wants you to do the killing for him. Then he will say it was he, Allah, who did the killing. It's that little difference that keeps Christians from killing their enemies instead of doing what Jesus commands, which is to love your enemies and pray for those who despitefully use you. Does Muhammad tell you to love and pray for your enemies like Jesus? The jihad was not prescribed on Prophet Muhammad until he formed a state in Medina. Some believe it was because he was rejected in Mecca, making him very vengeful. You say this, quote. Sounds like it's literal as compared to the parable of Jesus. I think parables is an easy excuse to say, I want to make it mean what I want. Could be. There should be an agreed interpretation to prevent people from changing it. You mean from taking it literally or not, true? The Quran was literal, and so was Jesus. The Injil says Jesus spoke in parables. Again, the New Testament, the Injil, says Jesus spoke in parables. But you want to know something? I bet it's not parables in the Quran, is it? Except, say, when the son is, quote, running to a resting place. Or the skeleton forms first, the baby skeleton forms first, and then the flesh. Or stars in the lowest heaven, sky will shoot flaming missiles at you if you try to leave the zones of the earth without Allah's permission. Then, when it says that, those are parables, true? That's when it's not to be taken literally, true? You say, quote, if so, then why does Quran 16:106 allow you to lie if you feel you are under compulsion? You are allowed to lie against the enemies of Islam if your life is in threat. Oh, I'm coming to the end here now. Where does it say in the Quran? Where does it say? Where does it say that in Quran 16:106 or Quran 3:28? If you are telling the truth and you see me as the enemy of Islam, are you being truthful with me? However, if you are in the Islamic court and you must speak the truth, even if it costs you your neck. However, if you are in an Islamic court, then you must speak the truth, even if it costs you your neck. Right. You are to be truthful toward Muslims. But again, if it's non-Muslims, then lying is fine, true? Especially if you see them as your enemy, see them as an enemy of Islam, true? The Quran just allows you to deceive the enemy that is in war. However, right. How about in jihad of the pen? Or trying to get people to believe America and Israel are the problem? Or are you not to think you view America and Israel as the enemy and are to be truthful about them? Generally, it is emphasized in the Quran to speak the truth. But when you are innocent and are in a life-threatening circumstance, then life comes over the Islamic law. That is, if you are dying of starvation and the only thing you can eat is pig, then you are allowed to eat the pig, etc. What about Quran 16:106? Oh, excuse me. What about Quran 16:107? What is the purpose of that scripture then? You say, quote, in other words, no two angels will be coming to him, the martyr, to ask him 3 questions, true? He won't even go to the grave. He will go straight into the highest levels of paradise, bypassing the grave, and the day of judgment, all the martyrs' sins will automatically be forgiven. I bet you don't see how that creates terror, do you? Terror in non-Muslims' eyes, as it prevents the injustice that they are trying to cause the Muslims. Injustice? Oh, I've got to stop it here.